What is up, guys? Man, Real Diversity. We're back. Another episode of Ahiru no Sora, episode 40, I believe, or yeah, I believe it's 40, right? So yeah, welcome back if you're returning, and what is up if you're new. I won't be doing too much editing this video. I've been trying to incorporate more videos into my, more clips into my videos. Let me say it like that. But I like my last time I had like when I did the episode 39 review, my video got blocked like twice. So I just trying to slow it down for the moment, not to avoid any like copyright situations like that. So it'd be pretty basic this episode, so you can pretty much treat it like a podcast. And this time around, like I said, I'm trying to learn more about what I can and can't use as far as the future goes. But anyway, besides that, let's jump into the episode here, man. So start off with us looking into kind of we got a view into Yoko Academy, which we haven't really seen. We knew a lot about them, but we probably at this point in this series, I don't think we've learned more about any other team besides Yoko. We've learned like almost every aspect about their team by this point. In terms of like when you think of the other teams we've looked at, like Moru and uh, uh, Shinjo and them. Like, well, Shinjo, we did learn a lot about Shinjo as well. I won't. We actually maybe learned a little too much about Shinjo, especially since that team was a kind of a one-time deal. But but yeah, just just trying to emphasize the point that we've learned a lot about Yoko's team up until this point in the series. Sorry about the sniffling. I'll try to stop. And yeah, so really uh, valuable information here because it makes it build. It's a good build up, right? It's a good build up, story build up. You don't want to just have an enemy that you really don't know the backstory too much about, and then it's not. It doesn't have as much excitement to it. This brings a little bit more excitement to it. Now we did find some key information out, but before I get into that, we kind of really saw this episode, first half of it, through the eyes um, of one of the freshman players, Minite. I believe that's how you said. Minate uh, was the kid we kind of saw everything through, right? We saw how he viewed the, we saw how he essentially viewed the other players like Fuwa and Shirashi, right? We kind of saw how them guys are kind of viewed on the team and things like that. And yeah, so it was just a little bit of a. We just kind of looked through. We saw Yoko. If I can talk, we saw Yoko's team through his eyes. So it was kind of a what his purpose was this episode, and also just to show how rigorous their training is, right? Which we already knew from previous episodes. Um, like how the coach was talking to Shirashi before he wanted to join the team, things like that. So we knew how rigorous it was and things like that. But yeah, so basically their team is and they have a like freaking players on top of players. Like they have it looked like at least like they had like 30 freshmen on the team. Like I mean, I don't even know how it's possible and who gets game time and whatnot. But yeah, we'll talk about that in just a second though. But yeah, so we saw it basically through his eyes and what was going on there, and we learned a little bit more about the other guys, things like that, in a sense. So pretty interesting there, story wise, and I just enjoyed that. It was just to see other teams' perspective and other what other teams do compared to Kuzu. And it was really interesting to see. But also, what else happened next? Oh yes, the coach. The coach mentioned this, and it was the first picture I had up. Is that the that he's only using freshmen and sophomores on Kuzu's team because their seniors have to do something that day or something like that. Can't remember what, but yeah. So Kuzu's team only gets his freshmen and sophomores. Well, I don't know what the coach's purpose of this is. I don't know if he really just underestimates Kuzu or if he just wants to really see if he just wants to see how his freshman and sophomore do, or if he just doesn't like, or is he treating Kuzu like like how the other teams did. We're not even gonna put in our good players, things like that. Is it something like that situation, or is it more so he really is just trying to see something out, and he feels like Kuzu's a good team to try it out on, and that's what I want to see. Maybe he thinks Kuzu's a really good team, and he wants to see how his sophomores and freshmen compare to a team like Kuzu. So I think that's could be that it could be a good or bad thing why he wants to do this. I have no clue yet, but that's his plan. He only wants to use his freshmen and sophomores. Now that includes um Shirashi, obviously Fua. I still have not learned the name of the center guy with the long hair. He will also be there, and Yozen will also play, but I don't know. Yeah, and then there's like a fifth person that would play. Maybe even the Minute guy we saw today. He might play. I don't know. Just a suggestion, but also Yozen, right? Yozen may well, Yozen will probably play. And the thing is, though, let me get to this Yozen topic. Yozen's basically like a cookie cutter version of Sora, right? We're gonna learn obviously a lot more about him when it comes up, but he is on a team that the more I think about it, um, like he's gotta. We'll see, find out, but he's gotta have some real skill, right? He's gotta be a level above even someone like Sora to be on like Yoko's team because we've seen Yoko's coach talk about. So he Yoko's coach told Sora's mom that he would never be a starter for any real competitive team except for the team he's on is the only type of team he would ever start for, a team that doesn't have a real doesn't have a full program, doesn't have a lot of members, things like that. This is the only team he would really ever start on. So if you play for like Yoko's team, he was basically essentially saying any competitor, real competitor team, he wouldn't probably ever start just because of simply his height, right? And just for him to say that, and then Yozen's on his team. Yozen is yet to get any playtime, by the way. And yet for Yozen to be on his team, will Yozen really get the playtime and spotlight he deserves? Or maybe he's a coach that believes what we've seen so far. He believes a lot in training, conditioning, and things like that. So maybe since Yozen has been pushing himself so far, so hard, he may give him a shot. So that might be what this is, or he may know Yozen's skill level. Something we don't know yet. So it's yet to be determined. Yeah, still more information we have to kind of see, or they have to give us in the animated way. And so yeah, it's just really, it was just interesting though that first half to see that. And was there anything else interesting that happened in that first part? um yeah, it was just, like I said, another reason why I love this story so much, anime so much, is because it doesn't focus just solely on the main team, right? That was something I felt like Kuroko no Basket, or even Haku, right? Haku, they focus a lot on their just team. They don't really go outside of that, and it's just nice to sometimes go outside of the main team, main protagonist, and to look at other teams and things like that. So it's something nice to see that we saw there. And yeah, I enjoyed that part of it. So later on, though, I think that's it for the first half of the episode. We got back to Kuzu. Um, it started with Nail showing the rest of the guys that weren't actually at the game the footage, right? She was really showing everyone the footage, but the other guys they were already there and watched it, like Chiaki and Momo and Kite. They were already there, and saw it. So she was basically showing like Chucky and Nabi and them, Yas, what all went down. Yeah, they felt screwed pretty much, which they've already figured anyway. But yeah, essentially she did announce there that she was going to change positions, right? She Sora as a point guard, which was, I mean, he was already kind of doing that a little bit, but he was mainly shooting guard, but he was also, already doing that point guard a little bit earlier, and then so now Kai will be shooting guard. Chiaki will be small forward, and power forward is probably Momo, and then Mokichi will be like center. It's how their team's gonna be laid out, most likely, right? So, interesting to see that, and I thought that was pretty much gonna be the lineup anyway. And Kuzu has a good team, right? Don't get me wrong. Kuzu has team players with experience on it, such as Kai, Mokichi. Those two are probably the most seasoned players there. Chiaki is also very talented. Yeah, I can't tell if he's talent because I don't think he. I don't. I've never really seen him practice really hard, so I don't know if it's just talent with him or what. But yeah, so um, or if he's just like seasoned, like kiting them from practicing a lot of things like that. And then we got Momo and the other three guys, right? So yeah, that's the new lineup. That's pretty much what they come up with now in terms of that. Was there anything else that went on with that? But yeah, Kite still, essentially, they feel like he's been distancing himself. He still doesn't go to the team practices, quote unquote. But at the same time, he has really been going to challenge that college player, right? He's still been challenging the college player in that. And I mean, it just well, he is a freshman. Kite is a freshman, and could you imagine? Maybe so. I don't know anyone's age right now who I'm speaking to, but imagine if you're like a college player, or not a player, but if you're a college person and like a freshman in high school challenges you, how would you feel about that? Or say right now, if you're like a freshman and you challenge a college player, how would that feel to you? Would you think that was like be impossible or not? But yeah, um, that's pretty much what's going on there. And to find out that Kai actually scored his first point after who knows how many times he's challenged this guy is kind of ridiculous to hear, especially considering how well Kai is of a player, right? So yeah, so I think this guy kind of he was being really hard on Kai with his words and things like that as well. But it may have been what Kai needed to understand and such, because he had more was so he's more so of a lone wolf type of player, and the team really needs really a team. It's a team game. They need like passers and things like that as well as scores. So maybe hopefully that he has learned, and maybe um, we'll see a different kite maybe when the actual game starts here. But moving forward though, in terms of progress, we haven't heard much from Momo in a minute. We haven't heard much from we really didn't even see much practice from those other guys besides like Nabi and them this episode, and Sora and Kite. Sora, Kite, and Nabi are the only three we really got to see on Kuzu this team today, like in terms of like improvement wise. So Nabi's trying to get his shot, get a three shot, and then Sora's trying to basically come up with a new pull up move. Kite, obviously, like I mentioned just earlier, is was challenging a college player. Basically, I don't know why, just to improve, I guess. But yes, he is essentially trying to prove that, and yeah, back. So basically, Kai's gonna probably once he gets in the game though, he's probably gonna feel like everyone is not as good as that college player. So yeah, I think that was pretty solid practice by Kite. By the way, I feel like I mean after going against someone in college, and now he's gonna face a team full of freshmen and sophomores. I think he's gonna feel no pressure at all. So I think that's actually pretty sound training there. But 3-3-2. Yeah, Sora, and like I said, Sora's trying to come up with a new pull up move, or he might have botched that pull up idea and maybe wanted to come up with his own move of his own now. But I can't think of any like basketball moves I know of right now that Sora could come up with besides the pull up. But maybe a step back. We've yet to see anyone with a lethal step back. So maybe that could be what we see coming up from Sora. Is it's just some type of step back, or if not the pull up idea. I don't think we've yet to see a step back though. So I'm still thinking about that. But um yeah. So all right. So here's my thoughts for the this game coming up. Right. So far, seeing this episode alone, if you saw this episode alone, or seeing this episode and so far what we've seen in the series, I feel like in no way possible should a team like Kuzu beat a team like Yoko. And it would even feel disrespectful, honestly, to me from what I've seen so far from Yoko's team, their regimen, their talent, their player. I mean, just everything we've seen so far from Yoko. They just have a real program for them to. Okay, well, I guess but let's mention this fact first that they're only using freshmen and sophomores, which is also another reason why Kuzu's team really gets destroyed a lot of times because Kuzu's team only has freshmen and sophomores too. No one's a senior on Kuzu's team. So if you didn't know that, they're all freshmen or sophomores, right? So yeah, as far as I know, right, Momo and Chiaki and them all those guys are second years. So yes, yeah. So that's pretty much how that is works with them, and it's basically equal. Maybe that's what the coach was going for there. Maybe he only wanted to use his freshmen and sophomores because he knew Kuzu only had freshmen and sophomores. Maybe that's earlier I mentioned that. Maybe that's what he was trying to go for there. Or like I said, it could be one of the other ideas I threw out there earlier. But yes, um, it to me just it would be just terrible writing and just disrespectful to a team like Yoko for Kuzu to win at all. Now, if there was their full team, now once again, let's bring it back. Yoko's only using their freshmen and sophomores. Their freshmen aren't really that seasoned in terms of Yoko's um, training. They've done it, whatever, but it's not like they've done it for 3 years, right? The sophomores are a little more. Obviously, we've seen she's what's his name? I forget his name already. Uh, Shirashi. There it is. Shirashi. We've seen him. He's like probably like I can't if he's a sophomore, I can't imagine what their third years are on their team. But yeah, so we've seen Shirashi, and we've known him to dominate games, and obviously they have Fua of the other freshmen, and then we've yet to even see Yozen's really potential, but I can guarantee he's just as good as like Fua or Shirashi or any of those guys. And obviously, yeah, so we know what Yoko has to offer, and like I said, seeing her training regimen, if they were to face the full team, it would just have been a complete blowout, in my opinion. Now the terms are a little more even, so we'll see. But it just doesn't even seem like Kuzu's team. Like it just doesn't. After the locker room burnt down, I just haven't seen the spark in any of the players. Right, it just don't seem like they're training as hard as they were before the intern high. They were doing lots of training, right? They had regiments left and right. And then also, yeah, Neo did give everyone regiments after the team kind of got back together. So they did. We're doing that separate training. But so far, besides that, in terms of actually improving in the game of basketball, we've yet to see very little of it besides from anyone besides Sora and Kite. Right, Sora's been really solid at it. He's trying to get basically a new move down. Kite's just been trying to improve and as a player in general. But the other guys we've yet to see anything from Mokichi. We've yet to see anything from Chiaki, Momo. I mean, like, what are those guys doing? I see Nabi's at least trying to get a shot. So it just doesn't seem like Kuzu is trying enough each episode to me to beat a team like Yoko. So another factor in of why I would almost dislike if Kuzu won. But maybe there be more like story, pulls when that time comes. Maybe they'll have some flashbacks of maybe like Momo doing some special training and things like that that we didn't see up front. So, and basically currently what I've seen right now, it maybe this to make it seem like Kuzu has no chance. But in my opinion, it just would be just flat out weird for Kuzu to win at this point. But maybe it's a reason it's done like that, and we will see about that though. But yeah, so far I enjoyed that episode really a lot. Good to see Sora, good to see Kite, good to see Yoko. The team, they're the team to beat basically, and yeah, this is just a solid episode. Really enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. That's it for this video, man. That's all we're gonna get for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, please leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. Go ahead to subscribe button. We do this every week. We're out.